we're prepared and we don't have anything sarcastic to start the show with. I'm in uncharted territory, guys. Here, I'm really nervous. Really nervous.
Get over it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Let me get my music out.
There you go.
Welcome to.
Now I feel at home.
Thanks. When we don't have something sarcastic to say, Jeff's wires aren't ready. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of a llama champ or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of low-dollar endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet but terrible, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you're going to giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And this is Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another Super Bass O Matic 76 episode of our podcast. It is episode 76. And if you're not driving a car right now, don't forget your E1R bingo card. There's a new version available with updated words and phrases. Metal, did you update the phrases? There are 4 new ones, I think.
I'm not seeing a lot of new ones on the card that I've selected this week, but we all know that the Queen Kong of the bingo cards is Chrissy.
There you go.
And
Chrissy,
that's some delicious bass, Jeff.
That is a surprise. It's a surprise.
Wait. Not only that, but it will also do perch, pickerel, and I don't remember the thing.
What are you talking about?
The video is actually linked into that highlight. If you click on it, it'll take you straight to the YouTube.
It's okay. Look at it later, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone more than 40.
Bass-O-Matic. Yes, if you've never seen it, just look up the Super Bass O Matic 76 from the heyday of Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
What you working on? Do I start again?
Jeff, what are you working on?
Z update. I traveled to lovely Reading, Birdsboro, wherever the hell it is in Pennsylvania, to the Chris and Chrissy factory and did some work on the Z. For those of you who have been listening or maybe not listening or you're new to the show, we have a 92 300ZX, and when we bought it, the lifters sounded like this when it ran. Yes, that was me clapping, and my dogs are going nuts right now. The lifter job got done, and a part of the cage got done at the last big work weekend, but the front of the motor was all apart. So while Chris was working on some Honda stuff, I attacked the front of the motor. Thanks to the Z32 wiki for the step-by-step instructions on the timing belt job. Chrissy, back me up. That timing belt was an MFer beyond compare.
Yeah, it's like a 6-foot long timing belt, and with several tensioners.
As I said later, I feel like all 6 of our hands were basically like we were playing Twister.
And it wasn't enough. We needed hand 7, 8, 9.
But I don't know where they would have gone because we were in each other's way anyway. Yes.
It was tough, but it is all back down, and it is, thanks, we were texting Wartburger Aaron, like, hey, where did you put this part? Where did you put this part? And we did find all of the parts, so that's a good thing, including the elusive key for the not the harmonic balancer.
Woodruff key.
The Woodruff key for the front pulley, which, is about like 1/8 of an inch, little tiny half circle. But yeah, we found it all. So yeah, all that's in. The front of the motor is done. We're going to talk about some of the disgusting things that were in the front of the motor. But before I could even leave, Chris and Chrissy had to shovel snow. And then on the way home, I was battling snow. And the wife's Corvette had the flattest battery on the planet. I couldn't even get it to jump, and my battery charger / float charger has been dead for I guess a good part of the winter because I haven't been able to get it to work. So I gotta put a plug and hashtag they should totally sponsor us, but they're a free website.
You did that one, thank you.
Okay, the Harbor Freight Coupon Database, www.hfqpd. I don't know. It's in the notes. I I went and I got the brand new, I'm going to hold it up to the screen so everyone can see it, Viking fully automatic microprocessor controlled battery charger, which I don't know what that means, but I guess it was a good one. But if you've never heard of the Harbor Freight coupon database, it is a great deal. They have a plugin for your web browser. You go, you put in the item number, and it gives you the history of the price of that. What is the best coupon available? Click on it. You can then put on your smart device the coupon, hold it up to the cashier, and get your $20 off. So for a $56 item, I actually have it up right now. This is, by the way, this is item number. Should I say the item number? It is item number. Nobody cares.
You lost me a while ago.
63299. So. It went from $52 to $44 to $36, and I paid $34 with my coupon. So woo woo. There it is.
And it's legit, but yeah, the description, you kind of lost us on some Chinese freighter.
Sorry.
But basically,
30 nautical miles ago.
HFQPDB.com. Harbor Freight Coupon Database.com. And
I'm actually excited about that. That's news everyone here needs.
Coupon is not a C. Coupon is a Q.
Yes.
It is Q. HFQ.
Okay. Well, it's when you said Harbor Freight coupon.
I don't know.
Coupon.
It's the best I could do. It's fine.
Whatever.
Hey, buy things at the Hammer store for less. Basically.
Get a free flashlight.
There it is. That's all.
Yeah.
But they've got a giant parking lot sale. Everything must go. I'm sorry.
Every week.
Every week.
I
still love Harbor Freight. I stopped by there today to get some gloves.
Great.
Harbor Freight is awesome.
Jeff, did you order any ST43s or rotors or any stuff yet?
I did not order ST43s. I did receive the radiator and the caliper brackety things and brackets. Yes, I was trying to kind of hide what we're doing. And I have rotors and the power steering pump, which was very broken on RZ, ordered already.
Cool.
I did not order
You were trying to hide the term brackets by using the word brackety?
No, I wasn't. I'm trying not to say what those brackets do.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with...
It's okay to tell people we are making sure our brakes are effective and last. That's a good quality thing. No one is going to begrudge us that. And we're doing it like the most economical way we possibly can. This is not like a Willwood kit.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you working a lot?
I'm refusing to answer that question.
You told me all before the show about how much you're working.
Yep.
Maybe it'll come up later. I don't know.
Speaking of working on things, Chris, what are you working on?
The Civic and the Z. Oh, you want more details on that? No. When the Z was here, I did some work on the Z because Chris and Chrissy were working on the front of the motor, and it was hard to get 3 sets of hands until we were doing the timing belt. So I worked on the seat to move it over the last inch, where I really only had about half an inch, but I made an inch by bashing the hell out of the transmission tunnel to make that little extra room to move it as far over as we possibly can to get it away from the cage. So that's over as far as it goes. We still have to drill out the stock rivet bolts in the seat rails put longer bolts in there to make sure it really gets through the whole floor pan, and we can put a big washer behind it to make it safe. I welded in some spreader plate and part of the cage. We got a lot more to do, but before the seat goes in, it's nice to weld the stuff behind the seat. Done a lot to the Civic in the last week. I'm out working on it every single day, at least for an hour or two. So all the shift cables are in and done and look pretty OEM. All the mounts were in and done. The axles are 2 out of 3 are now in, so which is good. The fuel system has been made and installed and hooked up to the motor. The transmission has been taken apart and checked to make sure it was okay from this junkyard transmission. It was.
It was taken apart, put together, taken apart, put together, taken apart, put together, taken apart, put together.
Yep.
At least
typical
5
transmission.
times.
There were 3 times that I put the case on, and then I said, "Oh, I forgot the magnet. Damn it!" And then I opened it back up, put the magnet in. Then I said, "Oh, I forgot the stupid plastic tray that goes in there. I don't know what the hell it does, but Honda put it in here for some reason. Damn it! I got to open it back here again. Put it back on." And then it was finally done. So it took several times, but Jeff was laughing at me as I can't tell you how much that makes me feel better about myself.
knowing that you had to take it because you get it all together and you're really feeling good. You've got the goop on your hands. You're cleaning them off, and you look over and you see that part. Ah, crap.
Yeah. Unfortunately, each time I had not torqued it down, so we just kind of smushed the Honda bond back up onto this mating surface, and then I was running out of it, so I put the Honda, I rolled it up like a toothpaste tube, and then I put it in the vise. And
in the vise, that was amazing. I was like, yeah, that tube is done.
Yeah.
After it's fit in the vise to squeeze it out.
This says success all over the place.
Yep. So anyway, that's all back together. And everything looked fine in there, which is nice. And I was disappointed to see someone had actually put gear oil in it, which is a common mistake that Hondas don't take gear oil. But fortunately, it did not appear as though anything was worn as a result. Everything looked pretty good. There were still points on the synchros.
Smelled for 2 days.
Yeah. What do Hondas use instead of gear oil?
A lighter weight oil. It's actually more like a 10W30 motor oil. In fact, in a pinch, you can just put 1030 in it, and it'll work. But it's like a synchro mesh kind of fluid. We're using something called Torco RTF, which is a fancy oil.
Torco is a great name. That's like,
what
are we going to call this one? Let's have a committee meeting.
Yep.
Yeah,
Torco.
I know that.
Torco.
And Chrissy, you talk about the smell. Peter Egan once wrote that you can't really imagine that gasoline or any other petroleum product comes from dead dinosaurs. Then you smell gear oil, and absolutely, that smells like rotting biological material.
Yeah,
and I smell like that for the entire weekend.
Yeah, it's especially good to get in your hair.
The very first thing I did was get it splashed all over my only set of good clothes.
Yeah,
which ceased to be good clothes.
Yes.
Yep.
Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, I found that the oil pan that was on the junkyard motor is pretty solidly dented in on the bottom. That's unfortunate, so I'm going to pull it off and see if I can't bang that back out to an acceptable standard so we don't lose out on oil flow. And then, while I have it off, I might as well weld up a proper baffle with, one-way doors and things like that does not interfere with the checking of oil and actually is a baffle as opposed to just a random extra bit of metal welded into the side of the pan. Mental. I don't know.
Solid. That's a solid plan. That's applying the lessons of others to you. That's a positive business commitment right there.
And lastly,
so maybe mental. Go ahead.
No, Jeff, go ahead and make fun of me.
Hell, wiring hell. So, I have 3 wire harnesses. None of them match. They're all laid out all over the place now, and now I have to make them play nice. And I have pinout diagrams. I have pics. Wiring hell. Here we come. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, before you do that oil pan, you could ask Mental for a picture of his dog's dish that has all the little swirlies on it to make sure he doesn't eat too fast.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Now, I say this hesitatingly. That dented oil pan wouldn't have come from it riding in the back of a Volvo station wagon, would it?
No, that was probably done when they were picking up the car with a forklift to get them around the junkyard and things. That's when that kind of thing happens.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Since you got the mic, what you working on, Mental?
So I was doing some work on my Volvo and I've made some champ progress, but I'm a little embarrassed, so I don't want to talk about it. I've been doing CSI work on the fuel system on the champ because there's a mechanical fuel pump that doesn't work, but the fuel was still routed through it, and then an electric fuel pump that was added on to it later, and I'm just trying to get it all figured out.
There it is. Chrissy, what you working on?
So I assisted with the car work this weekend. While Jeff didn't mention, I did help Jeff with the Z in the front of the engine on Saturday, and I was the voice of reason putting the engine in on Sunday. We will talk about that and just the tip, actually. And what I'm going to say is sometimes it's good to listen to your wife. Things might be easier, and you'll hear about more of that story later.
That's so passive aggressive. I feel like I'm in trouble.
No one's in trouble. But
he agrees.
She was definitely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't fight me on it. It was just I took the time to think about it, and he was just going to go the easier way out. So that's why it's going to be just the tip, because we all learned. But really, because the engine went in pretty easily. Chris kind of glossed over that, but because he did a lot of research and did a lot of the prep beforehand, we went in fairly easily. And we were it might be a little bigger or different than the last one, so it's when we won't know how it works well until it moves. So we'll see.
It's going to be a big hole in the hood, though. That's for sure.
That is true.
Also, I'm still working on heeling towing. I realize that I really need to practice while sitting still because I am doing both parts, but I get freaked out when I try to do them together on the road. So I stall, or I didn't stall, but I was almost stall, and then I'm like on the off ramp and going whee. So I decided I should probably not do that on the road. And also, I forgot that we didn't give a update to our flat tire story, which you can check out on your bingo card if you have it. But last week we were all mad about the tire relocations that didn't fix the tires. So we have one tire place that we're not going to go back to, and then we went to another one, and this one they were supposed to fix my tire pressure sensor, and the tire was still flat. I didn't update the story, I don't think. No?
No. The tire pressure sensor was broken. That did need to be fixed, and it was loose when we put it back in, but it was still leaking, so we brought it back.
I'm sorry. This is my story, actually.
But I thought you glossed over those details that needed to be said.
I was going to go back just to make sure that nobody had already heard this.
Children, don't fight in front of the children.
I'm taking sarcasm on this one. Sorry.
Okay. So,
Chrissy, keep talking.
Okay. Thank you. So we did identify that the tire pressure sensor was broken. We know that because Chris tightened it and made it work for a little while, but there was still something wrong. But we knew that was broken. So we brought that back to the one tire place, which we thought was good and is still good. But we brought it back. They fixed the tire pressure sensor, and I put it back on. And then the next day, I might have flipped out because it's still flat. And I have tire pressure sensors, obviously, in these wheels. I don't have them in my other wheels. So I don't usually rely on it telling me that I have a flat tire. So I ride down the road and say, okay, is it going to be flat? Oh, it's flat. And then I get out of the car and then I float
flat.
out.
It was just low.
I'm sorry. Right. The light is on. It beeps. And then it is somewhere between 25 and about 25 to 15, we'll say.
Where it had been 35 15. The day before.
Yeah, I was going to say 15's pretty low on those low-profile tires.
No, these are the snows on the 18s. Well, right, and it's still flattish. So I bring it back and I talk to the kid really that did it before, and I says it's still not holding air. And then of course I pull up in the Mazda. So I'm sorry, quick thing. We swapped one of my parents' wheels. They also have a Mazda. Put it on my car. So I was driving it with one of their wheels on it, one wheel and tire, same size, same wheel. So I pull up to the store and they look at the car. And I was like, so this is still not holding air. It's still broken. And they're just like, but you have 4 tires over there. And I'm like, yeah, okay, don't look at the car. Just fix this wheel.
It's in the trunk.
Right. I know. I'd already taken it out. They were trying to make sure there was no any any defects or any nails or anything, that there's something else to make it that it's not holding air. So I come back they say, okay, we fixed it. And they come back the next day. And so I said, you fixed it. And here, so they said that there was what moisture got in, made it kind of bubble, and they had to shave it down and fix the wheel. Okay, Chris, now
like rust on the wheel.
There was corrosion in the inner wheel lip, where the mating surface of the tire to the wheel, which happens. This is the Northeast. It's salty. This car has 226,000 winter miles on it. So
and it's the winter tires. So.
Exactly. So they had to break the bead, wire brush down the corrosion, grind it down a little bit, just enough to make a smooth mating surface, put it back together, good to go. Done. Long story short.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're not so bad. We were hating on them because we thought they were bad, and they didn't do what they asked, and they did.
My favorite part is when somebody tries to convince Chrissy that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she goes, can I talk to the manager? News and notes time! Mental go.
Folks, you know that Jeff is contractually obligated to speak on all Elon Musk matters. Jeff, you have an update?
He can't tweet, but he still does.
Exactly. What you don't know is that I'm actually contractually obligated to speak about everything that is Steve McQueen related. So the last movie Steve McQueen made was a film called The Hunter, and it featured at the time a new Trans Am, which was destroyed in a gorgeous stunt sequence. But it is actually resurfaced. So it is now being marketed as the Pontiac Trans Am from the final Steve McQueen movie resurfaces. We've got a link to that, and we've got a link to the video from the movie The Hunter where it is blown in half by an errant 3 sticks of dynamite. It's very, very funny.
Is this for sale at the time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, they've got it all bolted back together. And if you watch the footage, at the end of the scene, the Trans Am comes in on a flatbed with the front subframe separated from the rear subframe.
Okay.
And they got it all together.
They got it well, and they found the actual Trans Am that was used to film this part.
They had a title and a VIN.
That's right.
And a year
I
one
can make
catalog.
anything happen.
Right.
Yep. Year one, and they could prove that Steve McQueen's butt sat in that seat, and it's good enough.
It wasn't that seat, but it was in the general proximity of that, where that seat might be in relation to that VIN plate. So close enough.
Exactly.
SCCA has their Track Night in America is back. Their event schedule is up, and they have a ton of events all over the place. I mean, close to us, New Jersey Motorsports Park, for example, has one like every month. So there's so many great ways to get out there, get your car on track, even if it's your daily driver, even if it's your wife's daily driver or your wife's toy car, whatever. Get out on track, have a good time. It's fun. You only have to take a half day off work, if for those who do work, mental, and have a good time at it. Yes, Jeff.
I work.
Do you smell that?
Work a job.
Do you smell that, everyone?
What?
Future show topic.
Oh yeah, totally.
So the big news.
Can you tell us how much does? Oh, real quick, how much does it run?
I think it's like $150 too, and you get 3 20-minute sessions, no instructors unless you bring your own or have one to bring. So, yeah. So anyway,
It is.
everyone else is going a little slow here, so this is just the Chris show.
And
for the moment.
Haggerty is offering a 25% discount if you use their.
Okay, Haggerty's got a 25% discount.
Okay.
Apparently,
That's
Who's that?
CCA Track Night America.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Mental.
There you go. Are we back?
Yep. Everyone's back now. So,
Cool.
now it's Jeff's turn. Jeff, what do you got?
Welcome to the Slow Internet Podcast. Lemons has introduced another slow class, the all-electric class, and they're going to give away $1 million nickels to the first EV that wins an overall Lemons race. Eric Root is quoted that Jay at Alt Furious.
J and
Enthusiast.
all
Enthusiast.
enthusiasts. Yeah.
And Alt Enthusiast. Alt Enthusiast. So Alt Enthusiast is Jay Lamb's other company where he is running electric rallies and he wants to get into electric racing at some point. So this is basically Jay Lamb's money. They're going to give away $1 million nickels. They're going to deliver it in a dump truck. And he says basically if electric powertrains are the future, why are there so many reasons to expect that they are? They're going to have to at least be better than most things that are a 25-year-old street car, which is what they run in Lemons. So there it is. Basically, powertrain and batteries are budget exempt. And they basically say before you build anything, you better call us.
Unless John Pagel signs off on it, it's probably a bad idea.
Yeah. And Chris mentioned while we were at the weekend that all of the battery charging is basically going to count as fueling and must be done in the hot pit.
Yep. And yeah, it has to be all done in the same place as anyone else fueling. And it's basically just treating exactly like every other car in the race, except that they had a budget exemption for all the electric stuff. But the rest of it is all exactly the same rules everywhere. So that's the challenge is don't be there because you're special. You got to be like everybody else, but beat them. So
I got an IM from every single social media platform I have, from every person I knew 5 to 10 years ago who thinks they know something about cars, saying, "Did you see this? This is going to be real easy. Somebody's going to win this in a heartbeat. All they got to do is get a Tesla motor, put a Tesla battery, and bam, they win, budget exempt." And I'm like, no. It is extremely hard to win a race.
Yeah, let's just. I mean, Teslas are fast, but can a Tesla run with, say, the Tatas? Can a Tesla run with Black Betty? Can a Tesla run at any car that is always at the pointy end of the field? I mean, those guys are pulling some serious horsepower down the back straightaway.
Teslas overheat after 1.5 laps of Sonoma Raceway.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That ludicrous mode is like a sprinter.
Yep.
It's really fast, but it don't last long.
No, they do not.
Cool. Well, WRLL has introduced a revised classing system. They still work on a horsepower versus weight formula, but to prevent sandbagging or really the Smoky unit creative interpretation of the rules, they're now requiring dyno sheets. But if you say, I don't have time for that, they're still going to let you run. Dynos are only required to make the podium or compete for series points. In an email, they made it really clear. If you really just don't care and just want to have some fun, you can come on out, have some fun. No dyno needed. Yeah.
Nice. I know we have some results, Chrissy.
Yeah, we do have some results. So Champ Car was at the VRA Graphics and Wraps 12. That's not a plug at all. 12 hours of VIR. Weather clear on Saturday morning. Dan Buckle let us know that it took until after lunch to have a yellow free session, which is unfortunate. So overall was first was the limiter W. Okay, at the it's all one word with random letters missing. In a boring.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
It's okay. 94 BMW 325. Second was Where's John and Acura Integra, and third was an 84 Camaro of Racing for Heroes. Interesting. The podium represents the EC class, A class, and D class winners in that order. So C-Class winners were Bandit Racing, B was CMP Racing in a Prelude, and our friends Matt Connolly Motorsports was 5th overall and 2nd in EC, and Schumacher Taxi was there with 13th overall and 4th in C.
That's right.
Good for Schumacher.
Yeah. So this weekend, Sonoma Lemons at the Sears Pointless at the Hoopty-Con Confusingly, presented by Yokohama. There are 129 cars, 17 BMWs. Boring. 8 Miatas, 8 Hondas, including a CRV, which I find endlessly fascinating, 5 P cars, and Chrissy, and let's be honest, all of ours favorite mixtape Corrado.
Oh, I don't know that anybody agrees with that as everybody's favorite.
I do. It's my favorite Corrado.
We're just all in awe that it is a Corrado that is A, still running, B, runs well, and C, continues to run well. None of those three things ever happened with a Corrado, so good for them.
It's won a couple of races in a couple of different series, so good on those guys.
They must have sacrificed some chickens or probably a goat. That's bigger than chicken. It's a goat. So, the good on this one, there's lots of good in California, but obviously you got people like Cerveza, who is always probably going to win, on Tetnus with Anton there, Petty Cash, Black Iron Project, Eyesore, right? Model T's back with its new owners, and there's a 1967 Opel Kadett making a run at C-Class, which is fantastic. That's the Black Iron guys. I think they got tired of going fast with their E36, and now they're doing it in God's chosen class. That's wonderful.
Yeah. That is awesome, and Kadett is fantastic. So there's not that much that's bad here. The Prestige Racing Worldwide in an Worldwide in an 01 Passat.
That's going to break immediately.
That's a terrible idea.
But the window is going to go down, and it's definitely not coming back up. That's all I know. Ran when parked racing in a 1976 Oldsmobile Omega. Not really sure what that is. Is that an A body? Is that like the Citation? I think
it's
and
like
Eric,
a Monza.
Is it a Monza?
It's a Monza.
Yeah. So Eric Rude told us, quote, Tom King is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and he's bringing his 79 Skyhawk to try again. This time he has put a Buick Rover 215 in it, and it's been unbelievably bad for 2 years running now. So good luck, Tom King.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got the funny ones. Rusty Trombone Shop. My friend Safety third in their Kim John Elantra, which I think they did pretty well, at least one race.
Yeah,
they were high up in the, I need so much. And Chump Ganassi Tarji Racing, I think in a, wait for it, Jeff, 96 Talon.
Oh, second gen.
Also, Eric said 4 totally hetero guys in a probe racing. I think that used to be the fisting probe, which also isn't going to do very well.
No. And some additional notes from Eric Rude is that Cerveza has a B team now. So, hey, some other people get to drive. Isn't that fun? The Intellivision guys are bringing a Boxster, so that's surely going to go well, right, Mental?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It will not finish, but it'll look good.
The McDad's guys are adding a second, more boring car. and that Eyesore must be close to 50 races on that little crap box of theirs. Somehow, good for them. That's amazing.
Wasn't Eyesore prepping something so they didn't have to run the Miata? Whatever happened to that?
I think they were doing a brat, and then they all had like lives, and they said, "Well, we can just keep running Miata." Yeah. Yeah.
Someone hit the easy button. Oh, look, it's a Miata.
We still have the same damn Miata we've had this whole time, and it works pretty damn well. We keep having to like repatch it together, but
at least they theme well.
Wonderfully.
Let's move on. WRL at Barber World Racing League for their opener. 53 cars, 17 BMWs.
Boring.
That's like a third of the field. That's really boring.
14 Miatas, 5 Hondas, 2 of them are S2000s. Mental's excited by that. 7 Porsche vehicles and a Jeep Cherokee.
Excellent.
Nice. So I'm trying to remember hold on a minute as I
where are you going with this?
There we go. No, wait, I'm ready. So Casey Cardin Motorsports. Sorry, Casey Cardin Motorsports, who has the second best name next to Matt Connolly Motorsports, will have. I had to zoom up to remember Matt Connolly. We'll have one of his well-prepared Miatas, but he's also running a Cayman S. Oh, that's some fast iron there. So he'll have his hand full with the Shaky Dog Racing out of Oklahoma and their 2 Miatas. Little Team Landshark has a well-sorted and well-driven Civic. GP1 and GTO, which are some of their classes. Wait a minute. Sorry.
You're doing a terrible job with this.
I know.
Well, let me do
it. So, yeah, but they will...
Let's just skip it.
Doesn't matter. Some cars.
Go have fun.
Done.
So how about
it's GTO's they're having that Elan NPO1 out there again, and they got those 2 M35 M235Rs.
I don't care.
The car came.
Let's talk about supercars.
I want to hear about the Jeep Cherokee. Let's talk about
supercars. So you want one, but the lottery tickets are getting expensive, and if you have one, if you have one and you open up to regular roads, you'll go to jail. That's supercars, not lottery tickets. Sorry. Check out Extreme Experience. They put you in the driver's seat. Some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks in America and Canada with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors. Awesome cars, awesome tracks, awesome instructors like Jeff, Chris, and Mental at the end of March. This is Mental at the end of March at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's kind of expensive. Already eating bread heels and grease for breakfast. Well, we've got you. So enter everyone racers. No one word, no space at 20, and you get 25% off when you go to xxspeed.com. Extreme Experience. It's your turn.
Hashtag Kardashian voice. Lucky Dog Racing has their 2019 schedule online. The races fill up quickly. They'll also be at Portland International, our favorite, The Ridge, Willow Springs, Utah Motorsports Campus, Pacific Raceway, Oregon Raceway Park, Thunder Hill, and don't forget the streets of Ensenada in Mexico. Please do not run over the stray dogs in the street.
Or the taco vendors.
The taco vendors. Make plans to attend the first annual Dog Stock. I love how that's spelled. That's DAWG. At Shasta Lake Resort and the third annual Flocktoberfest in October, where you can try not to run over the chickens or DC Doug. Head over to racelucky.com to take on their full calendar. Tell Kathy we sent you. You won't get anything for it, but we really like Kathy and want to say hi. Look for her to be back in April to talk about the spring races out there.
Now, for those that are local to me here in Atlanta, it is coming, the 37th annual Atlanta International Auto Show, Atlanta's spring thing, where you can shop and compare hundreds of new cars, trucks, and SUVs from over 2 dozen manufacturers in one location. You'll see debuting models for 2020, the latest in alternative fuel vehicles, and great special attractions like the GM Futureliner. It's only once a year. It is actually. Yeah. It is only once a year. 5 big days, and you don't want to miss it. March 20th through the 24th at the Georgia World Congress Center. Myself, I will be there on Wednesday the 20th. Now, this isn't like the OEM show you get in Detroit or New York and this kind of stuff, which is awesome, but this is a consumer show. So these are actual dealer representatives targeting you, the consumer. So you're going to have factory representatives, and they're going to be there to answer your questions. They're not just hired spokesmodels that are there to look like they're on the Price is Right and make sweeping hand gestures. After we go to the Atlanta International Auto Show, we're going to have Brian Medford from the Napa Know-How blog back on to discuss our favorite cars for 2020. 2019 and beyond. And I'm planning on doing some live events. We've talked about our YouTube channel, and I actually want to do a live walkthrough of the Future Liner. So I'm pretty geeked about it. So follow all of the Atlanta International Auto Show's media. Links are in our show notes.
What's getting Mental more geeked is getting press credentials to go to the Atlanta Auto Show because of this show. It's finally paying off.
Yeah, baby.
We're saving ourselves a $12 ticket. Hell yeah.
But I get in there before everyone's licked all the cars,
That's
too.
really what I want. I'll pay for my ticket. Just get me in a day early.
Pre-licked. Got it.
Or you just go at 9 a.m., and which is what we did, and we basically were in there before anybody else.
But they don't open until noon, and I do get in at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Hey, here's one that's not really our sponsorship, but great news from Eric Rude is that Auto Week is somehow sponsoring the Summer Gingerman race. This is going to be renamed the Rust Belt GP, presented by Auto Week. He's not surely sure what they're promoting, but hey, they're going to have a special subscription deal for $13 a year that comes with the sponsorship. Woo! I didn't know Auto Week was still out there. Anyway, I expect they're probably going to have a car of some sort at the race, too. And unofficially, they want as many American-built crap cans as they can muster for that race. Because really, who doesn't want a fleet full of front-wheel drive GMs and Dodge Dynasties and Ford Tempos? That's racing, friends. That's
It's going to be the Lambo circuit.
I was going to say, it's tough to find a Ford Tempo these days.
Yeah, they're all gone 'cause no one cares.
Juggalos everywhere.
And you know who had a front-wheel drive GM car back in the day and hated it just as much as everyone else? Chrissy's mom had a Cutlass Sierra.
Hi, Chrissy's mom. What kind did she have?
Cutlass Sierra. It was gray.
Terrible.
Had an Iron Duke. I've seen pictures of Chrissy sleeping across the back seat as a small child because that's safe.
It was beautiful, really. Yeah. No, it was not. It was not my best picture.
Was she up in the luggage, like the?
No, just across the back seat.
Partial shot.
I think her sister was in the footwell. Yeah.
Parcel shot there.
She was not.
Jeff knows. Jeff gets it.
Right.
Jeff and I are.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Listener
feedback.
We are so terrible.
No, I'm. This has mustered a lot of effort since I had been earlier.
And ketchup.
Okay.
The look that Chrissy just gave on the video is the funniest thing ever.
It's funny because she can't laugh because she's
don't
sick.
know exactly what's going on. Half of our podcast has a temperature above 98.6 right now, and it's really struggling. So, Chrissy,
I don't think he's sick. Are you
all
sick?
the care in the world.
He's not sick.
I had to do listener feedback.
Okay, so we're talking listener feedback. We had a bunch of topics running this weekend because we were actually working on cars. So I posted a picture, which I hoped to hear from more of you about if you run a note on your car, and I posted a picture of the heel toe sticky note that I run in my car. And a couple of you answered truthfully or not, which Tom Lamino said, mine says no Taco.
Says no Taco Bell.
Well, which made me laugh. I don't know. It's probably not no Taco Bell. Cameron said that he has a note in his Lemons car that says, this is not a time trial race, which is also a good one. And Dylan said, go fast and take chances.
So one of the greatest things that go ahead, Mental. I don't want to jump.
And there's a video of my buddy Low flying back when we first started this Lemons nonsense, and we were actually chasing before it became Tetanus Z, but the Tetanus Z around Texas World Speedway, and my friend Justin had written on the roll cage, the bar that went across the two down tubes, it says, "You are not good enough to get angry."
Nice. Mm-hmm. Trust me.
I like positive messages.
Yeah.
I can get angry.
I like
if
don't
I'm not
step
angry,
on your own wiener. I've seen that.
Don't step on your own wiener.
And I've also seen teams tape a picture of the racetrack to their steering wheel.
That's terrible.
That's not how you do this, kids.
If you're lost.
Yeah. I think that's the help with when I come into this turn, it's doing this. Which turn? The turn by the side.
It doesn't matter. You can't look at the map.
That used to be me.
Yeah, well, that's how Chrissy usually is on the radio. Exactly. It's often three. No, often the turn by the people with the stands and where the car blew up, and then she's 4 corners later.
Yeah, it's the dyslexic in me. I am much better at describing the turns than I am at remembering the numbers.
Yeah.
So when they have things like the light bulb or the dragon's tail or condo corner, that's a lot easier for me. Anyway. the turtle. We posted a picture of the belt. There's the timing belt after we finally got it on with 6 hands in places like we were playing Twister. And Eric M. noticed the grossness that has coated, which isn't a strong enough word, the alternator, which is like way at the bottom of the motor, and was still on when we took the picture, has since been removed. But of course, Chris gave me this job, and
Nope, this is my copy.
Yeah, this is what it sounded like. Huh? I didn't do that.
No, Chris gave me this job, and I stuck with it. So this is the only time that Chris said to me, "Hey, go get this," and I was like, I put my hands up, and I was like, "No," and so and I was like, "I'm can't do anything but finish this job." So gross. Clean now.
You fought the power steering pump with great zeal, and just there's an inch of goo on the alternator which lives below the power steering pump, and it is disgusting.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm genuinely frightened about a mess Chrissy doesn't want to touch. Normally that's just, like she just starts suiting up for battle. Oh, there's something gross. I am totally going to make it ungross. But something so gross that Chrissy goes, no. That's like me looking at a bottle of tequila going, it's too tasty.
I think Chrissy is ready to dive in to clean something that is gross, but she doesn't just want to remove it. That's usually Jeff's job. Like, get under there and get a gritty kitty and just.
And then Jeff
this is going to pour all over your face.
Right? Jeff will spread his grease
filth everywhere,
15 feet around him. I don't know how he does it. Yeah.
And it's just like he looks at me and says, "Will you clean the thing I asked you to clean?" And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. So, in other news, Mental posted a fabulous picture of the Datsun truck that we used to have. Its oil pan full of various assorted metal bits that didn't belong there. And he asked about tonight's topic, which we're going to get to soon. What's brought you to the breaking point? And Tom L. said he knows, but we've been there. And we've been there when he said, screw it, light it on fire. So, yeah, thanks for your support, Tom.
Can I break in for a minute here? Nobody knows who Tom L. is. Everybody just knows him as Lamino. Why don't we?
Yeah, he is Lamino.
I was trying to keep everyone's anonymity.
It's like Madonna.
Anonymity.
These single names only.
I don't think they want to admit that they listen to the show, so I'm trying to keep protect them for their own course.
All right.
Bill F. said that surrender is another path to success. Too dumb to give up, and that's a skill. Yep, go for it, Bill.
He just hasn't been hurt enough yet.
That's true. Eric said, of all the things Mental now thinks, what's important? Laughing, working hard, and spending time with friends. Aw, that's a Hallmark story. Matt F. said,
friends
never,
you make along the way.
Yeah, never. We're going to lose battles. We're going to keep fighting. That's true for Matt. He's definitely continued to do some stupid things along the way. Michael K. has an interesting idea. He said he's never thought about actually stopping, but he told the rest of the team, this vehicle does not race again until we fix X forever. Which is a great idea. This is a problem that must be solved. We've been there. I like that. And lastly, Cal said he's had several close calls. What kept him going was watching a beginner get hooked. It's hard not to keep going when that happens. Someone else got a taste of that sweet, sweet racing. First one's free, kids. Thanks for your reply to all our silly questions. Appreciate it.
It's a lie. The first one cost you the most, I think, because you got to buy all the gear. Also, I want to thank the listeners and everyone on this podcast who jumped in and gave $1 or $2 for my polar plunge this weekend, including Giant Dave, who suggested the Boy Scout uniform, Young Chris, who just wanted some fantastic shark, 3 p.m. Dave, who doesn't have a nickname. We have to give him one.
Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave.
Oh, Uncle Dave. Yeah, Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave. And everyone else on this podcast who suggested French Maid. By the way, I won the highest donor that wasn't in a fraternity or sorority award. And all of my students were like, Jeff, you raised so much money. I was like, my friends have jobs and yours eat ramen. That's why. So.
My friends have jobs and they love seeing me suffer.
Yes.
That's how I ended up completely bald in Colorado for St. Baldrick's a few years ago.
By the way, if you've never done a polar plunge in the Atlantic Ocean,
don't start now.
In weather in 20-degree weather, it feels like a hammer on your toes. It's really painful. Anyway, let's get on to the main topic.
If I gave you $40, can I take a hammer to your toes? I mean, it's
no.
Oh.
I'm suffering no ill effects, but man, was it cold. So anyway, let's get to the main topic time. The thrill is gone. The car is broken. You decide to throw in all the tools and just take a break. How do you rebound? Tonight's topic is hitting the wall of heartbreak, being in a race when the fun ends, but the race keeps going. So let's go around the horn and open with what has happened to make you feel like you wanted to walk away. And maybe from the race, maybe from the current job, maybe from what you're fixing, or maybe from racing totally. What has made you think about walking away? Chris, start it up.
I guess to sum it up, and you've seen me melt down a couple times, so it's not very often. Once in a while, it's when
rare.
I can't see a solution that's going to work without a ton of time or effort, and that just bugs me. So, like the end of New Jersey, when we debuted the Rolls Royce, and all 4 cars were badly crashed or blown up. Like something was terribly wrong with all of them. That was sad. CMP, the boat melted its cylinder heads. The TR went through 2 motors. The Civic got crashed and blew a head gasket. That was rough.
Ooh, head gasket on my sheet. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, it can be on your sheet, but with head gasket, I just got the bingo.
Oh, dag nabbit.
Good job.
So I had sarcasm, Giant Dave, the free space in the center, someone has crappy internet, and blown head gasket.
You know, and I just got it too by Rolls Royce that I even mentioned. So fantastic. Cool. All right. Other things are like when the Civic started blowing up constantly after being so good, it was just heartbreaking, and after so much effort that I'd put into that. And then lastly is when people just don't help. That really just crushes my spirit. Yeah. That's all.
Chrissy, talk about your frustration.
I don't know that my answer is kind of half-assed here. I get frustrated, but I think I get frustrated more importantly because of everybody else that gets frustrated. Because I am not so intimately in the engine bays as everybody else is, because usually that's not my place, especially at the racetrack. I see it from when we get home, when I'm watching everybody walk around the car and be sad and be frustrated. I get frustrated with them. And then more importantly, I have to be the stronger one to, when Chris is frustrated, to either redirect him and say, go out in the garage and go fix it. Usually after a couple days, we all sit and think about it. We all cry and mope. And then we say, okay, we got to get back on the horse. We got to do it.
Awesome. Go back 2 weeks and listen to our personality test. I'm learning, and it really is matching kind of the things we talked about 2 weeks ago. Mental, what you got? I know you've told this story before, so
I have, and it's you get off of what brought you to it in the first place. Why do you do this thing? And I don't care if it's golf or basketball or stamp collecting or whatever. And through a series of really just lucky breaks and then associating myself with really good people, I got to win a lot. There was a lot of winning going along for a while with me, and that became what it was about. And it is a danger in business, and it is a danger in the real world where you start misappropriating lucky breaks as your own skill. And I believe that is almost the definition of hubris. And so, I'm really great, and I hang out with all these great racers. And so I began to spend more money to get more winning. I'm like, this marijuana is pretty good, but it's really great cocaine. Cocaine's awesome. And I was spending and extolling a lot of effort in financial resources and travel in order to chase a fleeting sensation about winning, which is a poor replacement for just good competition. When we're done with a race, regardless of how we place, and we know that we just really gave it the friggin' coals that time, and it was a great race, we did it all right, even if we're 17th, that's a great sensation. And I was trying to replace that sensation with winning. And we've said it 1,000 times. Being perfect only buys you the lottery ticket. You're not going to win. And just sometimes you're just going to get out muscled. And if you're chasing the win, you're chasing the unicorn.
Cool. I I don't ever win. Winning's never been my problem.
We've had class wins. Come on.
I know. I'm joking. I actually I want to say that I don't chase the win. And we talk about this in other things, but I love the chase, and it's not the chase of the win. It's chase of doing what we've never done before. So I get heartbroken when the time left in the race leaves no option but to pack it in. I will work harder and I will do more and I will drive more miles for more transmissions as long as the window is still open. But when that window closes, that's when my heart goes snap. And a lot of times when that part is too far away or it's too deep to fix, I really felt like I let the group down. We're not going to get out for the green flag. And I don't remember what episode number it was, but if you download the Laguna post-race, that's how I felt that day when everything was done and the clutch fork was not functioning and it was so deep and there was just not enough hours to get it back and fixing.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Oh, so sad. So sad. All right. So
this is such a downer episode.
I know. Well, we're gonna get to the better stuff later. Like you got to hit bottom first, man, till you climb yourself back out. Sometimes it can be external racing of real life pressures getting in the way of your racing fun. As much as that should never happen, it does. How's that worked out for you, Jeff?
And you all know this because you're friends of mine, but my life took a downturn a couple of years ago, and thanks to the giant real estate bubble, I almost walked away from racing because I couldn't afford it. And I had to be propped up by my brother and some of the people on this podcast, and I owe them way more than just bucks because they didn't just float me the loan, but they floated me the ability to continue with the team when I probably shouldn't have been paying all that money and wasn't paying the money. So trying to make it up since then. And I know that someday, my job consistently gets in the way, but that doesn't really get me down as much. What does get me down is somewhere in my future, a doctorate is out there. I'm going to have to commit to the next degree, and I'm avoiding it as hard as I can because it is going to heavily cut into my ability to race, and that will suck because I like racing more than I like my career. So,
but it's only going to be for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
and imagine this: hold my trophy while Dr. Jeff kisses your girlfriend.
Yes, I know.
I love the idea of introducing you as Dr. Jeff. And it'll never be Dr. Wakeman. It will always be Dr. Jeff.
Yeah.
Then I can say, this is my friend Jeff the doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
We can do that anyway.
Because Jeff always introduces his old best friend Steve. It says, remember, my friend Steve the doctor? And yes, Jeff, we know Steve. Thank you. Yeah.
Chrissy, right. What external has gotten in your way of your racing?
I am considering not. Can I come over to your microphone?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to come over to your microphone.
Okay, just shut your thing off then, too.
So it's an interesting question, and I'm going to kind of flip it around. Or do we want to just let Chrissy go?
So my part, I think it's along the lines of, I feel like this topic is more of I'm the happier person, so I don't think about the sad parts. I feel like I also hit rock bottom, and we already talked about that a year or two back about when I did a really poor race, and I realized that I need to get my act together and do other things to get better at this sport. So I think I didn't feel like I was going to quit. I don't feel like, there's minimal other real life race pressures other than my husband that gets in the way of racing fun. But if I have something that I want to accomplish, I have to work on it a little bit better instead of quitting.
Chrissy doesn't have headphones, so I will say that the word she's running, the word husband flies out of her mouth so quickly. It's really interesting.
She's good at it. Wait, yep.
She's good at it.
Wait, what?
No, you missed it. You
have to listen to the show.
Gonna have to listen to the show. Menzel, what in your life has gotten in the way of racing?
The only time my real life got in the way of racing is when I was still in the military and I was always out of the country, and that was always kind of heartbreaking. And actually, you talked about the New Jersey race, because I watched that race from the comfort of my bunk at 3:00 in the morning with my phone in my hand, going, why have they not turned another lap? Why have they not turned another lap? And we talk about, we don't want this to be the sad show, we want this to be the happy show. I expected racing to interfere with my life more than it has. And what's been really interesting is that racing has actually made it's been a reversal. My racing experience has made my real life easier. Not just in the sense of, oh man, the boss, the great thing, the boss walks over at Friday at 4:30 and drops the giant folder on the desk, and you're like, crap. And it's one of those attitudes of, all right, cool. Step 1, make a hole in the box. Step 2, put your junk in the box. And I roll through this kind of breakdown of,
man, I got to get your job.
Yeah, seriously, where do you work?
Yeah. Damn.
I've done harder stuff than this.
Yeah, I've done harder stuff too.
That nobody was paying me to do. And what's been even more so is in meeting and experiencing these different people and how we conduct ourselves on a racetrack has opened up some real world opportunities for me. Oh yeah, I saw you at that race and such and such. And dude, man, you guys were not having a good weekend of it. You kept going. Hey, I want to introduce you to this person over here. And then that opens up to an opportunity. And I know I'm vague booking right now, but I've gotten to do some really cool stuff for money because of how I have conducted myself on a racetrack. And so
most of those things are illegal in 7 states, but
not in the South, they ain't. But look, we just need this package across that border. That's all I'm saying.
And what's in the package?
Yeah,
your package. That's the problem.
But it's not so much that all the world's a stage, but how you handle adversity when it gets dumped into your lap becomes a habit. And if we are defined by what we do, then excellence is not a trait, it's a habit. And I feel that gets reinforced by hanging out with you guys and hanging out with some of the other people I've had before. And that's really helped me out in real life stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks, philosopher.
Right. But now, Chris, let's talk about, Chrissy's always had the great, it's a terrible idea, having 2 people in charge of the budget that are both in charge of, racing. Oh, want to buy a supercar? Yeah, I want to go buy a supercar. Hey,
right.
You want to buy a Mercedes and drive it at racetracks across the country? Yeah, I want to buy a Mercedes and drive it at racetracks across the country.
Other than those 2 things, we don't ask. He's just like, I bought a bunch of car parts. We're like,
those are pretty expensive. So that's
they were also commitment. They're lifestyle commitments. Racing is not it is to
we're
most
already
people,
committed
but it's
to that.
right.
So.
It's not really a lifestyle for most.
And that's why it's tough to say that real life gets in the way of racing, because we don't have all that much of other real life. Like, we do a lot of this, and you guys are our best friends. This is fun we do. Like, this is what we do. It's fun. But competing priorities step in at times and slow things down. But it's always a temporary thing, like the kitchen. And now that it's done, I'm thrilled that it's done. It's so great, but that was definitely getting in the way for a long time.
The tile. Oh, I love the tile.
It looks great and it works
thing.
great. Work stuff is kind of sort of getting in the way right now. Like, I shouldn't even be doing this tonight. I've got something I really need to prepare for tomorrow. I know Jeff can commiserate with that, and he can complain about work, and you can get that in your bingo card too. So, but we always move past it because this is our happy place. This is our fun place. I have to remind myself of that sometimes when it's cold, and I have to go out in the garage and do that. But life moves past it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Chrissy, you got the next question.
All right, Chrissy's not with us, so I'm going to give Chrissy's next question. So this is perfect question for Chrissy, Miss Positive. How do you rebound when you get down? Let's turn this frown upside down, everybody. Is there a person, a process, something that helps get you back to the sport you love? And I guess Jeff can start.
Sure. You have to reset. You have to recover. You have to take a step back and remember that, like I said, it's not about whatever goal you set for yourself. It's not about the amount of things that you get put on you. It's about the amount of things that you can survive. I've told this story before, and I'm going to tell it again. I come back from just the worst Babe rally ever that happened. The Connie, what do we call it? Soul sucking Lincoln Continental broke down 7 times on the first day. I was definitely broken the day that I threw the keys and said, "That's it. We're selling it. We're renting a car tomorrow." And it was, somebody took away the tool.
Well, that was
and
at 3
said,
o'clock in the morning when the shifter snapped
the
off
shifter
in your
broke
hand.
off, I know.
It's like the last straw.
in the
You're just holding it
in the
your hand.
hotel parking
lot
At 3 in the
Jim
morning.
Thwaite had to push me up the hill in his effed up Oldsmobile. But anyway, and Chris said, "We're not losing on this one." And it was one of the best things I've ever heard. But this is what I said. I say, if you go on safari and the monkey steals your lunch and the lion chases your car and the rhino knocks your tent over and the hippo flips your boat over, did you have a good time or a bad time? And your answer should be, I saw a monkey, I saw a rhino, I saw a lion. Hell yeah, I had a good time. You got to focus on what's good and what's happening. And even when it's negative, it beats a day of work, baby. So just step back, put that hat on, realize that even the worst stuff that's happening, you're still on safari or you're still racing. So there it is.
And
Chris, go ahead.
Well, and I was going to and I do go to this a lot, but you guys can all relate to this. Jeff, you were a Boy Scout. Chrissy, you were a Girl Scout. And, Chris, we've talked about your times when you were living out in the Midwest. When you're going through the I'm sorry, in the West.
There we go.
But which side of the Rockies were you on?
The good side.
Okay, but it's
in them, actually, is the good side.
In them, actually, in them. Okay. So, but it's one of those things, while you're going through hard times, it's never that, but when you're telling the story later, it's always the funny parts that stand out. And anyone who listens to the show that has undergone any sort of military, police, fire, or just physically challenging training, while you're doing it, it is utter misery. But in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, when you're telling that story to all your friends or to somebody's kid, it's, oh my God, and then this happened, and then the shifter came off of my hand in the parking lot. Oh my God! And I was
say that.
I was gonna throw the keys, and then we traded the van for 2 6-packs of beer. It was awesome.
So if anyone ever runs into the lovely and talented Jennifer, or should I say the next time you run into lovely and talented Jennifer, ask her why she won't go on a sailboat with me, my friend Steve the doctor, and Eric Babick, the guy who makes tires. We tell this story about the time we were on a boat, on a sailboat, and we nearly crashed. There was we pitch poled, we breached, like everything that went bad during the time. We're like, nothing is wrong. This is just sailing. Yes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because all of our wives were on the boat. And the next day at the wedding of Steve the doctor, we're like, and then the wave came over, and then the lightning struck, and then the story is always better than what actually happened.
Yeah, and because of that, the lovely and talented Jennifer wouldn't even get on my Boston Whaler on the most perfect 75-degree day on Cape Cod. It's like, no, I'm not getting on one of your friends' boats. Remember what happened the last time?
I scarred her for life.
Yep. Yeah.
But Chrissy needs to answer this, and then I got an answer.
I don't even know. I feel like my last answer was better than this answer, so I apologize for not filling that in. But I agree. I think the whole team, my place on the team makes it so that I need to perform, and I make it so that I'm doing whatever I can to be a good team member. So I think the whole team is the people that make me bounce back and rebound. And I'm, I have an expectation that maybe it's just of myself, but to try to make sure that I'm the best performing person I can. And so that's why I've done the things I did this year. But I definitely hit rock bottom before and needed to put it all into perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
I guess I'll wrap it up. I just try to remember what makes it great and why I like it. Like, think of the fun. Think of that end result. Think of how great that is, how great those weekends are, how much fun you have with your friends doing this. That's what you think we need to put in that effort. Is where is it going to get you? That's what helps get me through the rough times. But I'm results focused, so that's me. ENTJ and all,
Go back 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Check out our personality profiles on the Myers-Briggs test. Chrissy, I don't know how to introduce this. Is this on the spot, or is this just?
Mental's got
Mental didn't go.
Oh, sorry, Mental.
And then
got a great
mental, yeah, and then so we kind of talked about we sort of did the show at NCM, and this is on the tail end of my Black Cloud. I hate racing. I'm coming home from races, and my wife's like, "Yeah, you're going to need to find a new hobby. I don't mind you spending the money, but you don't get to spend all this money and then come home mopey and angry." I'm a compulsive list maker, and what they're not all seeing right now is me holding up. This is my desk, and it's stacks and stacks of lists and things that I always write down, and I've always got notepads
If you have so
and
many
pens on me.
lists, you become not organized.
No, and it's not
Just a thought.
It is. It's not the list. It's the writing them down that makes it solid and plants it into my head. So for me, what my rebound was, you guys at NCM, I was just in the worst mood, and you guys were still laughing about wheel fell off. Just that was how liquid smooth Chris was. Yeah, wheel fell off. And so my suggestion would be write down what you love about this sport, or if it's clay pigeon shooting or golf or whatever it is that got you doing this sport in the first place, and you're finding yourself walking away from it. Write down what it is you love, and then write down why you started. Not why you do it now, but why you started. Now, I have, and the impetus was a friend's Facebook post of, I'm walking away from racing. And one of the points on there was they'd been involved in this since they were in college. And I kind of got almost a hint that a few people thought that they would be able to turn it into a professional career. Guys, if you don't have a contract before you graduate college, when you're in your 20s, a professional racing contract, you're not turning this into a career.
Are you telling me there is not IMSA scouts at the Lemons race?
There's not IMSA scouts anywhere.
Chrissy saw them.
There is no such thing as an IMSA scout. They don't do it. They're out there recruiting 8-year-olds out of karting. But even then, your parents need to be able to write a 5-digit check. And I've had to have this conversation when I was still teaching high school. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, my son's going to be a professional. No, your son's not. Do you know how I know that? Because they're playing at a public high school, period. If your child was going to be a professional, they would have been recruited to a private school by now. All right, you look at anyone that went straight into the NBA. None of them played for a public school, not for more than a year. And it's the same thing in auto racing. If you were going to do this as a career, someone would have already paid you to do it before you had your driver's license. That's how it works, guys.
Or you have 8 figures to play with and don't care about losing it.
You've got a questionable check cashing business. And
I was going to say you have a better chance of starting a check cashing business or scamming the federal government out of prescription money than you do actually getting in on your talent. So
exactly. Yeah. And I'm not trying to shatter your dreams on this, because you can still race. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a race car driver. And guess what, folks? I'm a race car driver. No, I'm not professional at it, but man, it's been a great ride. And it's not going to wrap up anytime soon. And yeah, I've got more years behind me than I do in front of me. Doesn't matter. I'm still racing cars. It's great. Was it Bill Danger? How old is that guy? And he's still racing cars.
1,000.
He's still good at it. That's what's really annoying. So, yeah.
I think he's the same age as he has horsepower in his car, like 187. I think that's...
So that's one thing. Now, and again, and I'm going to kick this over to a question. So going through the 80 comment Facebook thread that started this whole thing about, someone said were taking a break from this. What does that taking a break look like? Now, for some, endurance racing is just not their bag. Several people have said, I have tried endurance racing and I am so tired of wrenching a car and I'm so tired of the cheating or this to this. And they went back to sprint racing because it is just 30 minutes of beat the car to death and you don't have to think while you're driving. I like the mental chess game of endurance racing. I like I could take you here, but what does that do to the car? What does that do to the tires? And if you haven't read the Ross Bentley free ebook about endurance racing, and he does write it, he says from Le Mans to Lemons, and it's all about doing that. But what does taking a break look like? Has anyone on this show taken a break from it? I think, Jeff, you said you tried to. And
no, I didn't try to. I came close.
And your friends wouldn't do that. So, well, I don't think we've taken a break. So let's kick this over then and say, seeing that we've all gotten to that burnout point, some of us stayed there longer than others, but you look back on it, what would you do to avoid getting to that burnout point? Or what steps have you already taken to avoid that burnout?
Well, as frequently when mental talks, I totally zoned out and checked my bingo card, and I won a kitchen remodel. So I don't know if that was before or after all.
Hey, Jeff, how's your hair?
It's shut up. How do I avoid burnout?
Are you so busy at work?
Shut up. Of course I am. Is it spring? Then I'm at work a lot. So how do I avoid
then
burnout?
You're at work a lot. Is it winter? Then you're at work a lot.
I avoid burnout both at my incredibly busy job and in racing and in everything else by not giving an F. I have no more Fs to give. I am not here to please anyone. I am not here to sit back and relax. I am not here to do anything other than go, go, go. I don't sit. I don't sit at home. I can't. If I were to stop racing, I would have to pick up an even worse hobby because I can't sit still. I can't sit still. Thinking about quitting the zombies. That is.
You should.
Again, you were quitting in January.
I know. I still am. It's you can't just break free. Can't go cold turkey.
You got to get a zombie game patch or something, or
no.
You vape the zombies.
You download Simpsons Tapped Out and just go to that instead.
Okay, I'll go next. I feel like when we take a break, it's in between races. Like we work up to one, and then since we don't race every weekend or every other weekend or even once a month, we race. We look forward to the one race, and then we have our downslope. We don't look at the car for a week. We clean up. We pretend that we don't have a racing hobby, and then the next week we start back up again. And I think that's enough time in between. Every once in a while, if there's a race, if we do from like September to October or something that we have back-to-back races, it's a little much. But for the most part, I feel like we recover from whatever happened, and that's enough time in between. And we remember, we have that time to remember the good times, and then we just say, okay, it's let's get back on the horse. Let's fix whatever we need to fix so we can get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think it helps that we have not competing, but other complementary hobbies and things that we enjoy. This isn't it. So like in the summertime, we'll take 2 months and not really touch the race car for a while, and we'll just go out in the boat or go to the beach and stuff like that most of the time, and that just takes you away from it, changes your direction, and then you come back and say, all right, I want to get the car ready. Like I'm excited to go, and so then you do. And it's the same like in the wintertime. Usually after the New Hampshire race, we just put some antifreeze in it, park the car, and just don't look at it until it's really cold, and we say, damn it, I guess we got to get ready on this thing because we got to race pretty soon. And then then we're excited about the race even starting, but you have that break in there to do other things and to change gears in your head.
All right. That's a good one. So are we calling this
yeah, I think we can wrap it up.
Wrapping this up?
Yeah.
Just the spot? What is this?
I don't know.
It's labeled as JTP.
Just
the
point. The tip.
Just the point.
Just
tip.
The point. Point. Okay. So
you know what? It's Chrissy's turn. Everybody, shut up.
Thank you. I alluded that we were going to talk about something. So sometimes you just have to look at the whole picture, stop, think about how the project's going to go. So sometimes it might be better to pick the quicker way to handle it, but sometimes you just need to do something that it's going to save you frustration later. So as I mentioned in what you're working on, this weekend, Chris and I put a motor in the Civic, and we talked about how we were going to get said engine, which may be a little bit bigger, but at least it's different. Little. I'm trying to be facetious here. So we're trying to.
Sure, I'll say $500 car my ass. All right, there
right. So we were trying to figure out, do we put the engine underneath, which was going to have to make the car precariously at an angle, not necessarily safety, but also at a frustration level, like way high, and trying to shove it underneath and that kind of stuff. The other option was, do we get the engine crane down? And I think Chris was leaning towards putting the engine underneath, but we really thought about the different options and I decided that we were going to get the engine stand down from storage, which is up in the ceiling, and I was going to put it together, and we were going to use the engine. Chris, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that our engine crane is stored in multiple pieces on an elevated shelf in one corner of the garage because its legs doesn't fold up. So when this thing's out, it takes up like half a bay of the garage. So we very rarely use it because the old Civic motor, 2 people could pull out by hand.
Yep.
And we did several times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And when you guys aren't around, it's me. So that's
by yourself.
Chrissy.
By yourself.
No.
It's
You
just
can
Chrissy.
lift more than I can.
One-handed
Why does that surprise
Chrissy
you?
just curls. Chrissy can curl a B16Y2. Yeah.
That's not at all what it was, but it's Chris and I is what I'm trying to get at here. So so I said, I really think we should get the engine crane down, and we really talked about it. It's going to cost us more time. It's going to be more of a hassle because it's a two-person job to get it down. But really, it was a better option. And I patted myself on the back and said, really, I made a great decision here because it made it so much easier
Meanwhile,
to
going,
maneuver it.
No, once we talked it through, she was totally right, and it all went in really smoothly. It was great.
Yeah, but we decided that it wasn't just a safety issue. It was more of what is going to take you more time. It might take you a little bit more time. It took us, by the time both of it takes us both to get it down. I put it together in the other side of the garage. We put the engine in. That took like half of the time that it takes to put the engine crane together, and then I had to take it apart, and then we had to put it back. So it's a big process, but it made more sense for this issue. So that's my just the tip is think about what you need, what the project is going to really look like. Look at your options and think about the frustration level of what the actual task is going to be or could be, and figure out how you can fix it before you start. Mic drop.
Go ahead, Mental. You go first. I'll go second.
I was going to say, so this is a I should actually put down the vice grips, get it up, and go get the properly sized wrench rather than rounding the bolt.
I'd like to say that sometimes the longer away around the block is actually faster.
Yeah. Like, you could just tear through something to get to that part, or if you disassemble a few parts, suddenly everything's so easy. Like Chrissy, putting the alternator on the new motor. Oh, you put the wiring harness on after the alternator's on. Or you could just pull the alternator back off with 3 bolts, put the wiring all back on it really easily, and put it back up. It'd save a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This is what you said that you should do, and I didn't listen to you. So it may be fun because you were going to listen to me, or I was going to give you crap on the show. Uh-huh. So that's how we work around here.
Next show promo, Chris. What are we doing next week?
We don't really know yet, but we're moderately sure it won't suck. That's our best guarantee you got from us. There you go.
I feel like we've done a really good job this calendar year, of kind of like, planning ahead, working on the topics, and we've been working on it, folks. And yeah, we'll probably figure it out at about 7:45 next Wednesday.
That's not true. We'll figure it out before then. It's just that things aren't ready and tied down. Exactly.
I see. On that note, we'll talk about this offline. I need to reschedule next week.
Okay.
So, thank you for downloading a feverish episode of this week's Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer. Even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you think we sucked, give us a 5-star rating. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter or Twatter or put your junk in the boxer. Thanks again. That's everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. No matter what part of the heartbreak wall you're in, just keep the shiny side up.